Okay, Sharps. Running the system here. Again, I'm generally talking about my model. Anyways, it always comes up. I have an in for the 90 days. I have an in for the mass gap. You just want air turbulence or Hutter's prize megabyte or 100 megabytes into 10 megabytes on a YouTube file. Well, the red shift, blue shift of the quantum physics on the autonomous numbers of programs and frames you'll need. You code bullet usually can go into some of this other stuff just autonomously playing off in the
Didn't
background.
fully understand the risk they
I'm
had
going to
because there
very
wasn't
likely, I'm
adequate
not even going to get
disclosure
much, like
by
2%,
our
because it would be natural.
and that shouldn't some of that shouldn't there be
They're
regulation
working
as
a
well? They
problem.
might not
That's the
realize,
first
wow,
bit.
we got $5
Graph
billion
it, all
risk
the
of
names.
Viacom, or whatever it is. Isn't there a duty there also? How would
And you
you
get
address
bigger,
that?
and that's a harder thing. A lot of orders, you get more used to the numbers, but there's always a quantum physics problem until it becomes stable on the shop floor. Uh, that's the 90 days. So I'm catching things about, well, when you get a piece of equipment, there's, well, I actually like the other one better. The other one, we'll use Snake AI, Python. Sure. Uh,
I did employ you to say literally 6 words and you f***ed it.
yeah, exactly. You're gonna start off on the thermaler's position. Let's assume that this is just a white screen for code. I could type in some code bullet. But we're just gonna play with Snowflake for a minute and some computer graphics or computer engineering physics engines. You're a long way off if you don't have. You're a long way off if you don't have this stuff. I mean, a lot of numbers make off difference. There's a big difference between the floor model where I have a program, a very specific program of site. And so we're just going to put that here to say that is the thermaler's position is over in this area. That's the first day, gamma phase. If you want to be gamma radiation, beta radiation, proton, neutron, electron. You're in the electron position. You can become a proton or a neutron, neutral into the state of the information of this cyborg program, which becomes, all this later. Superconductors, YBCO factory. This is a program. A program runs on very simple limitations, Neo. This is just that version of it. There's a thermaler that does it too. Some site management guy that's just like, no, Neo, this is not how this is done. You think about the limited factors of an imaginary line that blocks you from being the crew guy because you can fly and dodge bullets. And you forget that they cannot do that. Where's the heat problem? So on the thermal denial, Code Bullet's not bad. He has a good interpretation. I could let this play off in the background. In there, the thermaler's position. Let's let it actually.
But no, that's alright, that's fine. I forgive you. We got a show to do. Let's
Got a
just
show to
it
do.
Previously on AMC's The Walking
Oh,
Dead.
fuck you.
Being
After 3
that
months
is
of
the
radio
same thing
silence, Evan remembers
as
his YouTube
walking
channel as a thing and just
into the building. You were just outside in the car, ready to go. Let's begin. Then the building turned into this. Right? So now you know where the thermal position looks like it's over there, but you don't know anything yet. You just walked into a building. Earth has hidden core. Nobody knew. Inside of here, like I said, on a chip factory, you'd say the circuitry design works very different. This is a resistor, this is a capacitor, this is a MOSFET switch, and autonomously, because of that foundation, it gives you something you don't actually need a screen for. The ones and zeros work to certain models on the middle floor about those program pins, those flux pins in YBCO, or core magnetics to some shadow problem to solar cycles, because if this was different, that would change, and therefore, if in the terminal of that program, that would be the game theory model of what happens in general relativity for game theory, prime numbers of observations of people who agree by votes on timelines. Looks like gravity to me. And therefore, where I'd put that program differential error screen, could be a hot day or a regular day. And like I said, so that indicates pressure is a spring because you're a photon in there, but you act differently. It's hotter, you take more breaks when you're thermaling with a hoodie on, or when you're running more material, loading pattern on the table. We'll draw the schematic how I want. Here's the saw. We'll say the table's here, and it runs backwards just a little bit. GPT-3 program. We can run this out. Well, the code in itself, I could pixel art this with hashes and dashes, but that doesn't necessarily make it the same thing. But the tool in which it could be observable, because I have this that's platformed for that differential and therefore handy and useful and therefore more valuable now than programming in the language of computer code and Hello World and Droid and stuff. Any Flappy Birds game here is a program, right? You know, I know it's a crazy thing, but when I say thermal position, is the Flappy Bird app from Hello World, because every job is going to be a job, whether you're moving rock by hand, thermaling that rock first and doing anything. You walk a distance, up over a hill, do a thing. Well, that creates a time dilation. That creates some kind of function that you could say is then for graftable based on the trajectory of how fast that ball can go up the hill or down the hill. And therefore it's pretty reasonable to say I pick a marginable area inside of there where if I want to pick it up a little bit I could drop it down, which gives me a useful index of I can jump into the autonomous system, or because there he's just playing game theory for apples, but it plays off useful autonomously while adapting some of that to these programs, or being able to function the slits, particle slits experiment, fold polarizations of those index, these being photons, fold and adjust in such a way that the program would be, well, not that, well, dark universe there, but control darks and comparatively to control lights. And here I've done it through Hello World and make a button and change the layout by a touch button function. It seems like a simple thing unless you have never done this game before. Then this is a fun little game to play, but you would never know because there's no score. There is no thing that indicates that you've done the right thing, because this, in terms of this, is a far bit off in terms of computer programming. So as a Sawyer, relative to safety or management, or small business design, patent office, bulltip, AR 15-0-1, AR pause, be like, every chemical analysis that I have Bluestone, we got silica in there, sulfur in there, there's a little bit of iron in there sometimes, every once in a while. It's got a super high silica content, and it plays different on the matrix, it cuts different, it burns different, you run it with a different wet dry CTP paradox. Well, they said CT paradox was a problem. I need to know it if I'm a quantum physicist. And, well, you have to find Dirac's equation while burning that rock doing CT paradox with general field theory equations. Call fucking you. Catch you on the next one.